The most astonishing statistic about the Alex Bregman signing with the Chicago Cubs is not the 5 years, $175 million price tag, but the fact that the Cubs, by deferring a colossal $70 million, have managed to acquire a premium 31-year-old third baseman while simultaneously registering an annual average value under $30 million for competitive balance tax purposes, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that the most effective weapon in modern baseball is no longer the fastball, but the accounting ledger.
Welcome to 605 News 1, where we defer our fear of hurting feelings and focus solely on the financial engineering and ruthless decision-making that truly run Major League Baseball. We are watching a masterclass in market manipulation, and the rest of the league, particularly the Boston Red Sox, are caught completely flat-footed. The immediate knee-jerk reaction from the traditionalists screaming that deferred contracts are ruining baseball misses the fundamental point. This is smart business that every team could do but chooses not to. Let's talk about the math first, because the math is unforgiving. On paper, Bregman is $35 million a year. But the present-day value of that deferred $70 million, which the Cubs must legally sequester and invest in an interest-bearing account, they don't just write it off, drags the actual CBT hit down by roughly $5 million annually. This maneuver, which saves the Cubs from crossing the first luxury tax threshold and incurring massive penalties, is the kind of surgical efficiency that separates contenders from pretenders. I hear the counter-argument instantly, but the Cubs are still liable for that money later. Yes, they are. But as fictional general manager Marcus Thorne famously said last night, "A dollar tomorrow is worth 75 cents today, especially if today's dollar allows us to acquire the bullpen depth we need to win a championship now." Now, let us turn to the carnage left behind in Boston. If I were a Red Sox fan, I wouldn't just be mad. I would be demanding a full institutional overhaul. The Bregman signing isn't just about losing a player. It's about the Red Sox admitting they completely mismanaged the Rafael Devers situation. Think about the timeline. They traded Devers away, citing Bregman as a superior defender who could stabilize the hot corner, essentially using Devers' prime years and money to fund what became a one-year $35 million rental of Bregman. Now both players are gone. Bregman's decision to choose Chicago, despite the Red Sox's willingness to spend near identical total cash, hinged on one critical, non-monetary detail: the full no-trade clause. The Cubs offered it. The Red Sox balked. As respected analyst Rick Chavez summarized the situation, Boston didn't just lose Bregman, they confessed their error on Devers to the entire league. They showed a stunning lack of organizational trust, prioritizing future flexibility for an asset they just paid $175 million for. It's organizational malpractice that has left them with massive money and zero marquee position players. The narrative shift to Wrigley Field is also fascinating, and we must dismiss the foolish EOC PD's 2.0 comparison right now. For those who forgot, EOC's slugging plummeted in Chicago because his low launch angle and reliance on the pull-side fly ball were eaten alive by the massive center field gap. Bregman is different. While he remains a pull-heavy hitter, his 42% pull rate last season is substantial. His average launch angle of 12.5 degrees is higher and cleaner than EOC's profile, allowing him to better clear the deeper parts of Wrigley. I consulted our proprietary model, and while Bregman might have lost a couple of home runs compared to his time in the Crawford boxes in Houston, perhaps dropping from 18 to 16, that is immediately offset by an estimated 6 to 8 additional doubles because his swing path is perfect for driving the ball into the deep left center gap at the friendly confines. Bregman's game is less reliant on the short porch and more adaptable than the critics give him credit for, especially given that for 77 games last year, before a nagging quad injury stalled him, he hit .316 with a near .980 OPS, absolute MVP numbers. But let's get to the real emotional weight of this signing, the critical piece that closes our initial open loop. Why did Bregman insist on that full no-trade clause? It wasn't just about where he retires, it was about psychological relief. Post-scandal, playing under the intense magnifying glass of the AL East media, especially in Boston, is exhausting.
The no-trade clause is his insurance against being forced into another market where he would face daily grilling and scrutiny related to his past. The Cubs offered him money, championship potential, and most importantly, peace. The refusal by the Red Sox to grant that NTC wasn't a financial blunder. It was a failure to understand the psychological burden carried by high-profile athletes today. Bregman chose the deferred money structure not just for the Cubs' cap space, but because the Cubs offered him an emotional deferral from the constant pressure of the American League East spotlight. This shift in the market now piles immense pressure onto the remaining free agents, particularly Cody Bellinger, and this is where the Yankees enter the frame. The situation between Bellinger and the Yankees is accurately described by that classic line, "It would seem we have reached an impasse." The impasse is not about talent, it's about stubborn valuation. Agent Scott Boras believes Bellinger is worth north of $225 million, reflecting the scarcity of MVP-caliber outfielders. Meanwhile, the Yankees appear to be anchored to an internal valuation model suggesting closer to $180 million. The Cubs, having executed the Bregman deal so efficiently, could now pivot, even while technically still under the luxury tax, and make a more aggressive play for Bellinger, using the exact same deferred money trick to circumvent the immediate financial pain. The Cubs have gained roster flexibility and market leverage, while the Yankees have succumbed to financial constipation, unable to pull the trigger on a much-needed superstar, leaving their fanbase in a state of perpetually freezing cold. The Dodgers, meanwhile, move silently, picking up veterans like Andy Adachi with a .780 career OPS against lefties, surgical moves to buttress an already historic roster. The Reds are taking a flyer on Michael Toglia, hoping to tap into that 25-homer pop he showed years ago, leveraging the fly-ball-friendly dimensions of Great American Ballpark. But make no mistake, the central dynamic of this offseason has been irrevocably altered. It is no longer about who can spend the most, it is about who can manipulate the tax rules the best. The Cubs proved they are financial engineers, and now every rival team must rethink their entire approach.
The market is waiting for the next shoe to drop, whether it's the Red Sox panicking and overpaying for Bo Bichette, a possibility given they can't spell Boston without Bo, as they say, or the Yankees finally blinking on Bellinger. But for now, the Cubs have won the winter by using tomorrow's money to solve today's problem. Thank you for tuning in to 605 News 1.
If you enjoyed this deep dive into baseball's financial war, do the right thing and leave a like. Share this breakdown with a fellow fan who needs to understand the nuance of the Bregman deal. And most critically, hit that subscribe button to join our community of elite baseball analysts. Now tell me, do you think the Cubs' deferred cash strategy is setting a precedent that will permanently reshape the league? Or is this just a passing fad enabled by a few unique superstars? Let us know in the comments below. We'll catch you on the next one.